What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Unleashed MMA. UFC Freedom 250 is officially in the books. And wow, what an absolutely legendary morning of fights. The historic South Lawn of the White House delivered pure, unadulterated chaos from top to bottom. But before we dive into the blood, sweat, and gold, I need to talk my talk. If you watched my preview video, you know they called me a madman in the comment section for my picks. They told me my picks were unhinged. But when the dust settled under the Washington lights, your boy got 6 out of 7 on his predictions for the main card. I mapped out the game plan, I predicted the script, and we absolutely cashed out. Now look, I'm an honest analyst, so we're going to look at the full picture today. I'm going to review all 7 fights of the card and tell you exactly how the world was shocked with my picks. And look directly at that one fight I got wrong. Because it wasn't a failure of style analysis, it was a failure of the heart. And I'm going to tell you exactly how my personal fan bias completely clouded my judgment. Let's start from the ground up and review this entire fight card.
We are unleashed, breaking the chains of the iron cage. We are unbound, turning the heart to a primal rage. We are unleashed.
We kicked off the main card with 5 absolutely banger of a fights, and your boy went 5 out of 5 right out of the gate. First up, the return of Sugar Sean O'Malley against Eamon Zahabi. Like I told you guys, O'Malley's length and sniper-like counter-striking were going to be complete matrix for Zahabi to solve. Sugar Sean looked spectacular, controlling the center of the cage, utilizing beautiful lateral movement, and landing that laser right hand to secure a dominant showcase finish. Next up was the absolute car crash at lightweight division. Marishi Hufi versus Michael Chandler. Chandler brought that signature explosive forward marching hurricane energy from the opening second, but Hufi stayed calm and composed under the maximum fire. He used clean, precise pocket boxing to slip Chandler's looping hooks and counter beautifully, cementing his status as an absolutely legitimate problem in the lightweight division. Then we saw the blue chip phenom Bo Nickel take on Kyle Dukas. Kyle Dukas tried to pull on guard early and hunt for submissions, but Bo Nickal's wrestling base was a fortress. He dictated every second of the top control and never allowed Dukas to find a submission. And he completely neutralized Dukas's guard and started raining down heavy ground and pound to get a definitive finish. Now let's talk about Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia. This was our pick to be the fight of the night. It was a completely car crash. This was an absolute phone booth violence. Both guys traded heavy leather, but Lopez's hyper-aggressive loopy hooks found their mark. He caught Garcia in a wild exchange and secured a relentless ground and pound victory that had the entire White House card standing on their feet. And finally, wrapping up the opening stretch of 5 fights, heavyweights collided as Josh Hockett faced Derek Lewis. Hockett fought an absolutely flawless tactical fight. He respected nuclear power possessed by the Black Beast and avoided wild exchanges and brilliantly used his wrestling to wear Derek Lewis down and secure a massive victory. 5 fights down, 5 perfect predictions. The momentum was unstoppable. Then the co-main event hit. Let's address the elephant in the room. The one single blemish on a predictions record and an absolute heartbreak for me as a fan. The co-main event featured Alex Potan Pereira moving up to face Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight championship. Gane won the fight by a devastating TKO in the second round. And honestly, I got it completely wrong. Here is the real unfiltered truth. I knew Gane would have an stylistic advantage over Alex Pereira. Before the fight, I knew Gane's elite fluid kickboxing footwork and distance management would be a nightmare puzzle for the fighter moving up in weight. I knew Gane would exploit the lateral movement and pick his shots. But Alex Pereira is one of my absolute favorite fighters to watch. And I wanted to see that legendary triple champ status to be achieved. So much so that I let my personal fan bias hijack my logical judgment. I bet with my heart instead of my brain. But let's be honest for a second. When Gane knocked down Alex Pereira with his jab and Alex tried to shoot on Gane for a takedown, Gane hit Alex with several elbows to the back of his head, which were illegal. And we see illegal stuff happening at Gane's fight like every time. Can Gane fight any fight with no fouls? The last time we saw, he double eye poked Tom Aspinall so bad that he had to get eye surgery. And he isn't even fully clear to fight yet. The referees at Gan's fight should be more careful, but nothing can be done now. But with this win, Gunn set up an absolute blockbuster of a rematch with the undisputed king, Tom Aspinall. That matchup carries an incredible narrative of redemption given the past history, and it's going to be one of the biggest heavyweight spectacles we have ever seen. But while the co-main event broke my heart, the main event cemented my status as the sharpest analyst in the game. It's time to talk about the crowning achievement of UFC Freedom 250. Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. Topuria walked into that cage completely undefeated, carrying an aura of absolute invincibility. The casual fans and odd makers completely dismissed Gaethje, laughing at anyone who picked the underdog veteran. They said Topuria's crisp and technical boxing combinations would put Gaethje's lights out in the first 2 rounds. But what did I tell you guys in my predictions video? I told you that Justin Gaethje is a different breed of animal and that under Trevor Whitman, his chaotic violence has evolved into an elite level counter striking. And that is exactly what we witnessed. Gaethje went out there under the Washington lights and put on an absolute masterclass of sustained pressure and structural destruction. But Topuria landed some incredible sharp shots too, showing the heart of a champion. But Gaethje dragged him straight into the deep dark trenches. By the time they hit late rounds, Justin's iron will overwhelmed the techniques, landing several devastating fight-ending combinations. But after the 4th round ended, Ilia's brother took in charge and he waved off the flag from Topuria's side. The fight ended while Topuria was sitting in his stool. He probably has a broken orbital bone, but he still continued the fight. So hats off for Ilia for fighting like a champ. 6 out of 7. We predicted the rises, we predicted the technical breakdown, and we called the massive changing of the guards in the main event of the lightweight division. I learned my lesson on the Pereira fight, but Justin Gaethje's masterclass showed when it comes to technical breakdown, Unleashed MMA sits at the very top. I want to hear from you guys now. Did your bracket survive that crazy main event, or did Justin Gaethje completely ruin your predictions too? How do you think Ciryl Gane matches up against Tom Aspinall next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss our elite technical breakdowns. The exams are over, the cameras are staying on, and I'll see you guys in the next fight. Peace.